Welcome back, dear viewer, to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. As usual, I am the host, O.C.G. And as usual, I am joined by my faithful idiot, Bertrum.
Oh, you're mean.
Yes, I am. The Resident Evil 4 remake launches in just 5 bloody days. So I thought to pass the time, I would tell you about some other notable remakes in this franchise that you might not have heard of.
Such as?
I'm getting to that, Bertram. Keep your trousers on. No, seriously, keep your trousers on. They're practically round your ankles.
Oh, sorry. Haha.
So, today, we are going to talk about the remake of probably my least favorite Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 0, which is coincidentally what I'd give the original game out of 10. 0.
That's a little harsh.
Harsh? The villain in that game is essentially a slug. A bloody slug. And he spends most of the game looking like a reject from some Japanese boy band. That's not to mention the horrible monkey enemies, the horrible boss fights against a giant scorpion, a giant bat, a giant bloody centipede. I could go on, and I will. Resident Evil 0 is horrible, boring, annoying. It's essentially you in video game form, Bertram.
Oh, you're mean.
Yes, I am. But is this remake as horrible as the original? Well, let's find out. So, this particular remake of Resident Evil 0 is the first playable section of a little game called The Umbrella Chronicles, a Nintendo Wii game that released in 2007, a year I remember fondly as the year I experimented with sniffing cinnamon for the first time.
What is this?
I am so glad you asked, Barry Burton. This is an on-rails light gun shooter thing, a la House of the Dead 2 or Time Crisis 57. You'll essentially be guided through stages, and you have to shoot anything foolish enough to get in your way. And yes, in Resident Evil 0's case, that means the annoying monkeys I mentioned earlier, and the annoying scorpion boss, giant bat boss, and slug thing.
I was raised by monkeys.
No you weren't.
Yes I was.
No, you weren't. Just because your mother and father looked like monkeys doesn't mean you were raised by monkeys.
I was raised by monkeys. I went to London Zoo on a school trip, and somehow I ended up in the monkey enclosure, and 4 of them picked me up. So I was raised by monkeys. Ha ha!
Yes, very clever, Bertram. Ha ha. Let's move on before you start telling me you were raised by a tiger.
I was raised by a tiger. Once.
Shut up, Bertram. The Resident Evil 0 kind of, sort of remake? Who the hell made it? Well, I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer.
I didn't hear anything.
Well, I did.
That means you're crazy.
Shut up, Bertrum, or I will hit you with a frying pan. The Umbrella Chronicles, and more importantly, the Resident Evil Zero section, was developed by Capcom and Caviar, a name that keeps coming up in these little videos of mine. Caviar made Drakengard, Nier, etc., etc., and I love them. But do I love this kind of, sort of remake of Resident Evil Zero? Well, thankfully, the villain is never seen in his Japanese boy band reject form here, and the switching characters thing that annoyed me in the original game is absent here, and it sure as hell is a lot shorter and subsequently more tolerable than the original game. So, I actually think I would rather play this segment of Umbrella Chronicles than the actual Resident Evil Zero.
Oh, that's a glowing endorsement.
I never knew you knew what the word endorsement meant, Bertram. Well done. But it's hardly that. Just because I prefer it to the original doesn't actually mean it's good. You still have to fight the annoying enemies I mentioned, and the final boss is an absolute pain in the semen sack. I wanted to throw my controller while playing that part.
But you did throw it at me.
I know. That's why I said I wanted to throw it. And I did. So, if you're going to play Resident Evil Zero, dear viewer, just play Umbrella Chronicles instead. It's available on Nintendo Wii, PS3, and now PS4/PS5 via PlayStation Now. Therefore, I declare that this kind of, sort of, not really remake of Resident Evil Zero is fine. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our little video on the Resident Evil Zero remake. If you enjoyed this little video of ours, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. Don't you dare forget to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, and turn on the bloody notifications. But remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Say goodbye, Bertram.
Goodbye, Bertram.